Hey everyone, I'm with Victor. He's a veteran of Comic-Con, is it fair to say?
Sure.
Yeah. How many years?
I think I started coming in like 2003 or 2004.
Yeah, that's a good distance.
So a year or something like that.
How has Comic-Con changed over that time? And what are you involved in Comic-Con? I think you're a professional, right?
I'm an actor in Los Angeles.
Cool.
Yeah.
You gotta tell us what you're in so we can catch you.
I was recently in an episode of Harry's Law.
Yeah. Take off your hat, please. Yeah. Actually, okay, cool. That hat hides a lot.
I just found out I'm going to be in the upcoming Ben Affleck directed film Argo.
Congratulations.
Which is a Warner Brothers picture. So anywho, I'm an industry professional, if you will. In the amount of time that I've been coming, it's changed, and that it's gotten even more of an industry event in terms of all of the studios having booths and. I don't remember it being this much about what movies and TV shows were coming out.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
5 or 6 years ago, even. And even then, people were saying it was so different, so much bigger, and so much of an event, so much more of an event than it was before.
That's a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, as an actor, I would think, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a good thing. It seems like it gets more crowded every year, but it's been at capacity for a few years, so it really isn't getting any bigger, I don't guess.
Do you think that comic books are being hurt or helped by the ads? I mean, my personal feeling is that it's a great mix, but there are some comic book people who seem almost derisive of Comic-Con, and yet they feel they have to be here, right?
Well, I can see where if this was, if you've been here all along and are a comic book person, I can see where it might seem like somebody hijacked your convention. But for the most part, even the people who are into the comic books, most of them are into a lot of this other stuff too. And it's not like anybody's taking the comic books away. All that stuff is still here. So I think it's a pretty good mix too. I think it probably does. Help, and particularly since we've been making the superhero movies for the better part of 10 years now, that consistently are doing so well and spawning franchises. That the two are unlikely to separate anytime soon.
I'm curious, if you had a choice, you could wave your magic wand, what character would you like to play?
I don't even know anymore. I'd like to be somebody's assistant or second in charge or deputy or something where I don't have the responsibility of carrying the show, but I get to be on a show that's on for several seasons and does well.
Since you're an actor, I'm also curious to ask, how has new media affected what you do, both good and bad?
Well, it's good in a way, in that it can be a way in now. It can be a legitimate way in. If you and your funny improv buddies put together the video that wins the contest, that gets the $100,000 to do the short that makes the film festival there's a lot more opportunity to create content now. But at the same time, as someone who was making a living doing TV shows and residuals and stuff like that, now that everything is available on the internet, none of that trickles back now in terms of residuals. So in terms of the money that you make to make a living and how that has changed, new media has changed that. And I think we'll continue to change that, and my fear is that the contracts are already so far behind that it'll be the same thing. Won't ever really catch up in terms of the money that isn't being paid out in residuals from the producers and studios.
Now it's so spread out that it's sort of devalued on a per platform basis in a sense.
Well, it's that more and more people are watching it that way. They're not watching it on TV. And when someone watches it that way, there's no residual structure in place, or very little for new media. Those new media contracts are not favorable to any of the people who actually create that content. They're favorable to the studios and the producers. So it's not advantageous in that way. You know, if you make a living within the existing structure of it, it's not advantageous. But it can be a way in too, because if you've got one of these flip videos and any talent and the ability to get some eyeballs on it, you know, you never know. You can be the new hit web series that Showtime buys to make a show out of, or whatever.
It's like Lisa Kudrow, that happened to her, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Are you thinking about that as well, or you know?
I don't know. It's hard to, you know, I'm of that former generation. You know, I'm not the young upstarts with the improv troupe.
You don't look old, man.
Well, I'm not old, but my point is, you know, creating the content can often be a way in.
Yes.
And I'm in. It's just how it works has changed so much in such a short period of time.
Do you think that Hollywood as a whole just gets it? Because some studios I feel like don't really understand the media. Some do. Correct me if I'm wrong. It just seems like a hodgepodge of different takes.
I don't think they figured it out yet, and I certainly don't know. I think the studios want to do whatever they think is going to be profitable.
Yeah.
I think they don't want to. I think they don't want to or want to be perceived as giving away their programming. But if advertising is what pays for all of it, all that's going to have to change anyway, because the way everything is being advertised is changing.
How can we support you? How can we help get your name out there? What's your website or?
Well, no. The way you can support me is not watching reality television.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's been the 1-2 punch.
Really? Is that so? Basically, it's whole like it was just like export reality rocks and everything. That's invading what you do.
Oh, absolutely. If you go back 10 years and look at anybody's TV schedule, they were playing network shows in the season
in that time.
And then in summer they were rerunning for the most part their network shows. And now the network show, the actual scripted content gets less and less. There's less of it to begin with. What they have gets less of a chance because it doesn't. If it doesn't get the ratings in the first few episodes, they'll just pull it and put on some reality show that doesn't cost nearly as much to make. And in the summertime, instead of doing reruns of the shows, which was the traditional model for a long time, it's going to be a whole bunch of new reality shows that may or may not hit, but it doesn't really matter because they're cheap to make. And for the most part, they're still completely non-unionized in terms of people who are working on them, which means there's absolutely no residual structure for anything if you're somebody who's working and creating content for a reality show.
How is SAG responding to all this? Who are they?
Let's not get into all that.
You got it.
I'm a SAG member, but I don't think SAG is at any advantage, and I don't think they have a lot of leverage in what's happening right now. And AFTRA's taking over in terms of, I mean, they're going to make this merger happen, and at this point, it's probably the thing to do. But there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I mean, for the longest time, everybody said, "Oh, it won't last. It's going to go away." But there's been no real sign of that.
Have things gotten better since the writers' strike overall? Did that have
I don't think so.
Wow.
I think they've gotten worse since then. The writers' strike that happened, the actors' strike that didn't happen, and reality TV just continuing, you know, throughout all of that, and still. From my point of view, it's a little broken these days. From my point of view, it's a little broken. It used to be easier. I mean, unfortunately, it's like most everything else in America. It used to be a little easier to make a living.
Right. Well said. Yeah. Well said. Well said. You got a website or?
I don't. I'm the only one there is. Victor McCay. If you look me up, that's me. MCCAY. I've got a reel up online, but if you look me up, you just do a Google search, it's all me.
Cool.
Victor McCay.
Hey man, great to talk to you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.